Hello and welcome to another video with me. In this video we are going to be looking at site analysis. A site analysis is done after a site investigation. A site analysis is taking into consideration features of proposed site for a building and including or excluding them in your design. For example, you can have wind direction. If your wind is coming from the east, you will want to position your building in a way so that you can maximize on ventilation. You may have trees maybe close to your proposed building or away from your building, but then again that depends on the foundation that you are considering to have, because some foundations can be affected by your trees, and if your foundation is affected, your walls will also be affected, may have cracks. So during your site analysis, you are going to have a checklist, and in your checklist you are going to look out your site boundary, where it begins and ends, your vegetation, that is your grass, your trees and bushes. Are they poisonous, are they not poisonous, which trees do you want to keep for shade. Then you have your wind direction for your ventilation, how air is going to flow in your building. You have your sun path, which parts of the building will receive more morning sun, which parts will receive more afternoon sun. You have your sewer line and your water line, how close are they to the building, how easy is it for you to connect to access them, as well as your electricity line. And looking at your electricity line, it's also important during your construction works, because there are certain tools that will need electricity, so you really have to also consider that. You also have your gas line. Then you have existing buildings. For existing buildings, how close will your proposed building be to your existing building? This is very important, especially if you are going to try and place a noisy building somewhere near a quiet building, or a quiet building near a noisy building. For example, a restaurant. If you are planning to build a restaurant on a certain site, you don't want to place your restaurant on the side of your site that's more closer to maybe offices, because there need to be noise for the people in the office buildings. Then you have your access roads. How will people access your site? How will people access your restaurant or your library or whatever building that you are considering to design and build? Your pedestrian paths. How will pedestrians access your building? And even if they're not going to access your building, you don't want to block ways for pedestrians where they have to take a longer route just for them to go to another place. And as well as your soil types. Your soil types are very important, because then it affects the type of foundation that you have. So now looking at symbols, some symbols that you will have to draw on your site analysis. We have your site boundary, which is the thickest line that you're going to have on your drawing. It's going to have long and 2 double short dashes. Then for your electricity, water and sewer lines, they all have long dashes but a thinner thickness of line. And to differentiate them, you just put the letters E, W and S in between your long dash spaces. For existing buildings that may be near your site or on your site, you draw the shape of the existing building and you just hatch it. For your trees, there are different variations. For trees, you start with a circle and then you draw your big branches and include smaller branches. And if your site has different types of trees, you are going to have to show that by having different variations of your tree symbols. it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.